So it was during that time we were coming in. Our plan was to be coming into Pittsburgh. We live in Mercer, which is about an hour and a half away. So we were going to come into Pittsburgh for 6 months for training. But that started a little early because of the layoff. So October, November, December, we were coming in pretty regularly. And on one Wednesday night, we decided we would come here for the Wednesday night service, which, by the way, is very nice. I don't know if you go, but Kevin talked about Revelation, and we were all in a little circle. And after the circle, the friendly people came around and were talking to us and asking us, what, where are you from? You have kids. What do you do? And we were just having this really nice conversation with friendly people. And I asked the guy next to me, I said, well, what do you do? And he said, I work for the state. I work for unemployment. And I went, really? What do you do? And he said, well, we do training. We help people who are displaced workers to, get work and learn how to do something else so they can get a job. And we actually chase people down who collect unemployment and don't have any, they're not looking for a job. And I said, oh, the unemployment police. Okay. All right, Lord. But I wasn't convinced. I left that night, and my husband wisely said nothing to me. And I still prayed. I was still like, Lord, but that was your gift. That was your confirmation. That was your note. Surely you don't expect us to say now, oh, we don't need that. Well, I had a dream, and this is very unusual. But God speaks to you in dreams. Did you ever have that? Did anybody ever get something in a dream? Cool. Very cool. Well, I had a dream, and in my dream, and I knew it was God. I didn't see God, but I saw his hand, and I knew it was God's hand. And then I saw another hand, and written on that hand, it said, government. And God said to me, who do you trust? And I argued with him in my dream. I said, but Lord, you were the one. You were the one that told me, this was your blessing. And he didn't even argue. I don't think God argues. But he didn't argue with me in my dream. He just very calmly and very quietly and I just felt such peace when he said it. He just showed me the hands again. He said, who do you trust? Well, I don't trust my government. And I woke up the next morning and I was like, honey, you're not taking unemployment come January. I heard it from the boss. So last January, 2010, we were at about 40% of what we needed to live. And we said no to unemployment. You'll be happy to know. And I'm telling you, this has been a miracle. It has been a total miracle because not only our needs are being met, our bills are current. And I don't know how it's happening because I stopped counting at 40% because God told me that too. Just stop counting. Just trust me. So that's what we're doing. We're trusting him. We are moving in this direction of ministry. We're learning so much. It's been harder than I thought, but worth it. Matthew 6:30 says, if God, and this is the Message Bible. I don't know if you ever heard of the Message Bible. It's kind of cool. Matthew says here in 6:30, if God gives attention to the appearance of wildflowers, most of which are never even seen, don't you think he'll attend to you, take pride in you, do his best for you? What I'm trying to do here is to get you to relax, to not be so preoccupied with getting, so you can respond to God's giving. People who don't know God and the way he works, they fuss over these things. But you know both God and how he works. Steep your life in God reality, God initiative, God's provision. Don't worry about missing out. You'll find all your everyday human concerns will be met. Give your entire attention to what God is doing right now. And don't get worked up about what may or may not happen tomorrow. God will help you deal with whatever hard things come up when the time comes. So we have been taking these steps. And I'm telling you, I don't have it down pat by any means. There's There are things that happen, and I'm going, oh my gosh. And then I remember, oh yeah, I'm just supposed to worry about today. I'm just supposed to worry about today and make today's step. And so that's what we do, and that works. But let me just encourage you. If there are things that you're looking for, answers that you're looking for, things that you're thinking about doing or that you want to do, or maybe God's shown you something or given you a desire in your heart, seek Him. Seek Him with all your heart. Do it on purpose. Turn the TV off or whatever it is that takes your time now. And, get a babysitter. I thought about that too. What when you have little kids, how do you make time to, if you just do it on purpose. He knows it. He knows if you're spending time seeking Him. He knows it if you're just doing the 10-minute thing or if you're really, really serious about finding some things out. If you really want to know. And that's something that Jeff and I are learning and continue to learn, that God wants relationship with us. And when that happens, all these other things happen that are a result of that. And, we've been Christians for 30 years. And never did I think that I would be going to Haiti. And I'm supposed to go to Africa in January. Pray for me. 3 weeks in Africa. Just like, Lord, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this thing. And it's a blessing. It is. I mean, there are so many things that are being accomplished through the work of Heaven's Family, which is a ministry that's right in the South Hills. It's in your backyard. I mean, I don't know if you know that, but things are going on that are very exciting. And Jeff is going to show you a few of those things. So I'm going to give it over to him. Thank you.
Well, that's a difficult act to follow up on. My wife does a better job at just expressing herself, and one of the things that I don't want you to be to misunderstand, and it kind of sounds like I was the spiritual one and all, like about the unemployment stuff, but really, she's the one that's taught me so many things, and one of those areas one of those things is the area of giving and being able to give generously and with joy and to really let go of things, possessions and things, and that's something that she has taught me, and I moved into that area, and it's so much fun now to give, just to write a bigger check and give it away, and to something the Lord is calling you to do and need, and it's so exciting. And first of all, I want to tell you a little bit about the ministry and what we do there, and then I want to give you a testimony of my own at the end here to finish up. But in the video you saw before, there was that one boy, I don't know if you remember seeing him, that had to be carried because he couldn't walk. Well, that little boy has become a friend of mine because I've been there two times, and I've met him, and the Lord has connected us together in a way, not verbally, but in a really awesome way. And so it's so awesome to be able to look at things like that and to see people on the other side of the world and say that realize that the Lord has put us together in a way, and someday in eternity, I'll be able to meet with Him again, and if not here on this earth. And it was a way in which the Lord really showed me at that time that I remember really specifically when I saw Him, and the Lord just said to me, "This is the least of these." I mean, He embodied the least of these, a boy who would not be alive if he were on his own. If he wasn't in that orphanage, he would have been dead on the side of the road begging for something. And he could not see. He lost an eye, and he could not walk, and he couldn't do anything on his own. So, but anyway, when I started in December of last year, January, yeah, that's right. I got mixed up here. We on January 1st we started, and one of the things that we had been talking with the director about was what areas of ministry with Heaven's Family would we each of us, Karin and I, be responsible for. And because there's about 24 different areas of ministry that ministry has grown into, meeting different needs for orphans and for widows and for handicapped and different things. And one of the areas that I was going to be responsible for was disaster relief. And I remember him telling me at the beginning of the year, he said, "Well, this is, we've only in the fund for this particular area of ministry, you only have about a couple $1,000s, and it's pretty." It's kind of hot and cold, and right now there's nothing going on. I was there for 2 weeks full time with the ministry, and then the earthquake in Haiti happened, and so I really had to hit the ground running. And suddenly I was just caught up in all that was going on down there. And so less than a week after the earthquake happened, I found myself down there, the director and we went into Dominican Republic, next door neighbor on the island there, and we had to drive across the land to get there because the airport was closed. And I'm going to have Karin run a PowerPoint here. You just got to put F5 and take the cover off the projector there, Karin. And this is just going to run the background and just show you the F5. Okay. And just show you some pictures of what I saw there. And I'm not going to explain them all, but just to realize that when we went there, the devastation and all was just tremendous. And I've never been in a place where the level of their lifestyle was so poor in that country. And I remember driving through there, and one of the people who had been there before said, well, in some of these parts of the city, he said, well, this is the way it was before the earthquake. And I couldn't believe it because people were living in such destitute conditions. And then I was down there 3 more times so far this year. I went in April, and then I was down there in July as well. And one of the things that you've probably seen the news and felt yourself is just, well, this problem is so huge. I mean, Haiti is such an area of need, and then this earthquake happened, and all this need there. So one of the things that we wanted to do right away was to find a place that the Lord would lead us to where we could make a difference, and we could see that difference happening. And so he did that, and he led us to a camp, actually, where people from a larger church and a couple other churches had lost, the families there had lost their homes completely, and they had no place to go. So there was some church property about an hour drive north of the city, and there's some of the people here you're seeing at this camp here, and we realized right away, here's a small area, we can do something, make a difference, and we can see it actually happening. We don't have to send money and then see it disappear into a black hole. And for some of the money that's collected from donut sales, these are some of the kids that are actually be benefited from that. So it's kind of an exciting thing to see. So and then in July, I went down there with the work team. We helped build some houses at this camp to start making this place more permanent. People are living in tents still, and then in the summer, then we started hearing news about what was going on in Pakistan and the flooding there. So next thing I knew, I was starting to think about that and started making plans to go there in September, in which Haiti was fairly close, and it has its own dangers there. But Pakistan was in my mind, like, oh, terrorists, and I live there, and I can't go there. They don't like Americans, and so this is some flooding you're seeing. It's gone down a lot from where it was before. I was there in the middle of September, and one of the things that I saw, not only there was millions and millions of people displaced, and I saw a lot of dry land because there's like weird contrast. You see like areas that got no rain and really dry, and then there's the valley where all the flooding came down through, and people were all displaced from that area to other places. And but one of the things I was really encouraged about while I was there was seeing God at work. I mean, God is in Pakistan, and he's doing some really exciting things. And we met with believers there who are Pakistani, and they have a vision for what God wants to do in that nation. And they're not giving up. They're not really fearful of what's happening or the opposition there, because they realize that God has a purpose for them there. And so, when you see in the news, you hear things about places like that, remember in your mind that God is there. He's doing something in every part of the world, and to be connected with that. We're helping some of these victims here that had been displaced. They used to be a group of people that were Hindu before, and living out in this plain now. They're kind of squatters on this government land, but they have basically nothing, and they need some vital supplies to get them through until they get established. So